This is the main verse that describes the pre-trib rapture, but yet it doesn't describe the pre-trib rapture. Pay attention. The pre-trib rapture is a doctrine that teaches the church that before the tribulation, Jesus is going to rapture the church so that they will escape all of the persecution and the affliction and the hardship that's coming into the earth. Let's examine it.
For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep.
So Paul is telling us that those that are alive and remain, and those are key words, will not prevent or go before those that have died in faith to meet the Lord in the air at his coming. Now let's continue reading the next verse.
For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first.
Now, when you read this passage by itself with the viewpoint that God is going to rapture his faithful bride out of the tribulation, the context kind of makes sense. Because those that are alive and remain are simply those that are left on earth, not taken by Jesus at the rapture before the tribulation. But if you simply start at verse 13, Paul gives us the context of who those that are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord are.
But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those which are asleep, those that have died in Christ, that you do not sorrow or grieve, even as others which have no hope.
And right here is the context of this whole passage. The Thessalonians were sorrowing or grieving as if they had no hope to see those again that had died in faith.
And Paul was saying to them, you are going to see them again at the coming of Christ. So have a little hope. Now let's keep reading.
For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus God will bring with him.
Now pay attention, for this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep.
Those that are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord are simply those that did not die in faith before the coming of the Lord. If this were referring to a pre-trib rapture, Paul would have mentioned it.
It's also important to note that this is regarding the coming of the Lord, the coming.
And Jesus will only return one more time at the last trumpet.
Them which sleep in Jesus, or those that have died in faith, God will bring with him. Bring with him denotes to his coming.
So when Jesus returns to earth, he's going to bring the dead in Christ with him. And then every eye will see him with the dead in Christ. And then those that are in Christ that remain on earth that see him are going to be changed in a twinkling of an eye and meet him in the air. And then he's going to finish his descent to earth.